Well, good morning. Hello, my sweet, lovely peeps. I'm here in LA over downtown checking out some of the graffiti. And there's a little black cat over here. And so for some of the little baby ones. You're running. Are you running? What are you doing? What are you doing there, kitty? Hi. Some graffiti around back here. And so I was going to tell you my story. I'm on part 9, I think, or 10. And I'm downtown LA. I was born here, so I thought it would be appropriate if I filled you in on my little story while I was over here. Or my twin sister and I were born. And my other siblings. So, they don't watch my videos. But look, you can park here all day for $6. The attendant probably sits right there in that chair. It's probably his little stoop right there. And you got Bigfoot on the wall. So like I was telling you, my actual first boyfriend was not the Cuban boy next door, Raul. When I was in Eagle Rock in Glendale yesterday, I realized when I went by my first boyfriend's parents' house, apartment building, I realized I did have another boyfriend. So his name was Bo Sailor. And we hung out as, little boyfriends and girlfriends, little innocent ones did. And, went swimming and had fun running up and down the streets in Eagle Rock. And his parents were really funny too. I would go up there and to pick him up, and his parents would be standing up in the balcony dancing. Morning. In the historic downtown area. This guy just got off the bus. And so, here's some graffiti on this building. So, I had a German Shepherd, and I was going to tell you guys about my dog, because when my dad kicked me out of the house when I was 15, I had to go live with my aunt and uncle, and my dog, Duke, loved me so much that he wanted to know where I went. I wasn't coming home. When I would come home from school, there was this old lady that would sit on the brick wall around the front of my house, and she would sit there and wait for me to come home. And so did my dog, Duke. And so I'd go home, and I'd see the lady there waiting for me. And she lived in a nursing home up the street around the corner. So I'd go get her, and I'd tell her, you have to go back home now. And I'd get her and take her home. And, but I would get my dog, Duke, and we would walk her back to the nursing home together. And so, when I got kicked out and I wasn't living there anymore, look, there's somebody standing up on that balcony. Right there. It's a mannequin. When I wasn't living there anymore, and I didn't come home, Duke wanted to know where I went. And so he jumped the fence in the backyard. But there was I think that says Hope, because this is Hope Street. This is Main Street. Maine and Pico. And so he jumped over the wrought iron fence, and there were spikes on top of it because, you know, you live in LA, so you got to have spikes on top of your wrought iron fence. And my dog landed on the spikes when he tried to jump over and come and find me. And he passed on those spikes. My dad told me later, because I was not there at the time. And he told me much later, because he knows I would have been very upset. So my dog died. I mean, life is, you know, can stroke you out at any moment. Look on the sidewalk. There's just big footprints, even, on the sidewalk. Graffiti on the sidewalk. See it? And so, like I was saying, my boyfriend, Beau, my twin sister eventually ended up with him. I don't know how or why. But, you know, I really had any patience for men that, you know, I like to have my man to myself, I should say. And, you know, when they go off running off with my sister and cheating on me and stuff, I'm really not into that. So I just go ahead and let them go. So my first boyfriend, Beau Sailor, ended up with my twin sister. And you know how men like twins. We were just innocent. She was innocent. And, you know, I don't blame her for anything. I think she's rad. As a matter of fact, I love her very much. So please don't judge her by the stories I'm telling you about us, because we were just children. And, you know, kids will be kids. But my Cuban boyfriend that lived next door, when I did move out, I moved out on my 18th birthday like I was told to. My dad told me I had to move out. So I did. And looks like somebody left a thing down here. So I moved out into an apartment down the street from our house. This thing looks open. 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. There's a bunch of graffiti down here to it. I want to see it. I'm waiting for it to get light out so I could show you that. But I'm continuing my story down here. There's some graffiti of the Lakers. Because I want to show you the graffiti. It's even on the tree, look. There's some over here on this side. And I hear some noises coming out from over here. So she did end up with my boyfriend, Beau. And I did move out when I was 18, but Beau lived in Eagle Rock when we lived on Sagamore Way. And Raul Mariatis, he lived on, by the way, my dad taught him how to be a plumber, and that's what he did all his life. I think he lives in Beverly Hills. And his brother Angel, too. So, anyway, that guy's hauling. I ended up moving in with, into my own apartment. I moved out of my dad's house like he asked me to on my 18th birthday. And I had a job at Safeway. But I got a job at the Bank of America, or Home Savings and Loan on Wilshire Boulevard. I got a job there. And my boss was Greta, a very nice lady. And I liked working there. And matter of fact, I became the head teller in that place. And she trusted me and everything, which she could, because I'm very trustworthy. And so I had the keys to the vault and all of that. So any of the tellers that wanted something, they'd have to come to me to get it, because I had the key. But I wasn't power tripping, because I had the key. But anyway, like I said, oh look, this guy's pulling up to my van over here. That's quite ish. I did end up with my Cuban boyfriend, and he was very controlling and abusive. He would like take me to dinner or something with other friends and stuff, and he wouldn't want me to laugh, so he would kick me under the table if I laughed, and he would try to control what I was eating, my weight, and everything. It was really weird. And so I wasn't having it. I just moved out of my parents and my abusive dad and whatnot. The guy's taking pictures of the building. And him coming me and telling me what to do. And then I got this Cuban guy that thinks he's going to take my dad's place and start doing that to me. I told my sister, I didn't even know they all hated him when I was with him. But all of a sudden, when I broke up with him, they all fell in love with him. Because she ended up going out with him too. And so, I was in my apartment. And I was, there were two apartments, one side by side, and they all had they all had their own little entrances and stuff, but I could look out my window and I could see, oh, thank you for the light. I like this mural. I could see my sister's apartment because she lived down the street with some neighbors for a while, but she ended up moving into the same apartment building that I was living in, and it was on Hoover Street, right up the street from where we were living. And we went to Belmont High School while we lived in that house, but then we went back to Eagle Rock, like I told you in my last episode. If you haven't watched it yet, please do go ahead and watch it. It's very good. My little story, it's true. At least you know that you're hearing something that's very true and not a lie. It's true media. Look at these people driving over here to my car. It's annoying. I have to keep an eye around LA, There's a toilet out here. Look, I need to go to the bathroom. You can go right here in this toilet. So anyways, he was trying to be controlling and everything, so I broke up with him. I was actually one time walking around on these those wooden stencil things where you can put your feet up really high. It makes you really tall. They're wooden. They put these little things on the feet. And so, but I slipped off, cut my big toe like halfway off my foot. It hurt. So anyway, I had it all bandaged up. And that dude, Raul, he was arguing with me about something that day, and he dragged me up those stairs at my neighbor's house and almost ripped my whole toe off my foot. And I was telling him, my bandage coming off, you're ripping off my toe. And he didn't care. He just wanted to drag me up this and control me. And that was it for me. That and an incident where he told his family that I told his brother about him cheating on his wife, Christina, and with this other girl. And her name was Lisa. And I never said anything. I didn't tell anybody. It was a lie. I didn't tell them. People walking their dogs down here. Look at this guy. walking his dog. Trippy. The dog's trying to climb the tree. So anyways, I broke up with him. Almost ripped my foot off my foot like an idiot. And he was very mean and controlling. But he didn't want to be controlled. But, you know. So I'm in my apartment, and I could actually see my sister. The parking lot was on the other side from where I lived. I could see my sister walk by. She got a red Volkswagen. And I could see her walk by when she went to her apartment, so I would know if she was home or not. And I had kicked him out of my apartment and locked the door because I was that upset. His mom finally found out later on that I wasn't the one that told about his brother, Angel. And then when his mom passed away on her deathbed, she told Raul to go tell me, thank you, that I was the only one that never caused her any problem in the family, and she loved me. He went all the way, he drove for hours to go to my brother's house one New Year's to find me, because I hadn't seen him in years, to go tell me that his mom passed away. He was very upset about it, and that her last words were about me. And I was very flattered with Lana, who I loved very much. So it was really cool. And but yeah, so I was sitting on my front porch, like I could look from my front porch outside my window and see. I saw Raul, my boyfriend that I just broke up with, walk by. And I was like, where's he going? So I went out of my apartment and I followed him, and I walked over to my sister's apartment and knocked on the door. And lo and behold, he answered. And I'm like, what are you doing here? And he said, oh, I'm with her now. She's much better than you. And she walked around from behind the door and looked at me. And she had a hammer in her hand. I don't know what they were doing, or if she was afraid of me, what I was going to do, I don't know. But she actually spit in my face and slammed the door in my face with the two of them inside. It was unbelievable. I was completely mortified by the two of them. And besides the point, when I called my dad to tell him what I found out, he told me he knew all about it, that he approved of their relationship, and they were engaged to get married, and for me to stay out of it. And so with that, I did not want to live in the apartment building that she was living in. I could not believe that that was okay with my dad. For her to go out with my ex-boyfriend. These guys. And the one that he hated, that he punched me in the mouth for when I got notes from him, he also caught me one day with a class ring on a chain around my neck. And I got home from work like at midnight, and he was still up, usually sleeping. And I would always hide that ring. It was from Raul. And it was the school ring. You know how us women, we all love to have, you know, our boyfriend's school ring. And my dad saw it. And he got out of his chair. And he said, here, with his finger, get over here. And I was like, uh-oh, what's going on? I looked down and I saw the ring outside my shirt. And I knew. And again, I got punched in the mouth. He ripped the ring and the chain off my neck and threw it and called him a mother effing Cuban, that my None of my daughters are going to go out with anybody like that, or any of the guys like Michael Jackson. My dad was a little bit, on the prejudice side. And he would call him the N-word, like Michael Jackson, when I did that video. And I told him, don't call him that in front of me. That's not what he is to me. Because I think he's a sweetheart. He was really super sweet to me. And that's the way I want to remember him. And please don't call him that. I got smacked in the mouth over that. So I'm surprised I even have a mouth to talk out of. Probably wishes I didn't. But he passed away a couple of years ago, so now I get to tell my story. So, yeah, my Cuban boyfriend ended up with my twin sister. I moved out because I was completely devastated and distraught over the whole thing. I never thought that she would do that to me. I really didn't. I mean, somebody left their little beverage over here. And so I was pretty devastated. So I didn't want to live in the same building, so I moved out. And I actually was homeless. I got rid of everything. Everything. My dog, I had a little wiener dog. And I got rid of everything I had in that apartment and moved into my car. I just walked right out and left everything. That's how devastated I was. And I lived there before her. So that wasn't very nice of them to do that in front of me. And I never spoke to Raul again after that. He's still friends with my family and my sisters and stuff. But I'm not friends with him. I don't appreciate what he did to me and my twin. And hopefully he could see this video and realize how he hurt me and took away something very special to me and lied and went with my twin sister. And they both stabbed me in the back and hurt me. So, that's the truth of the matter. I moved into my car. I lived in my Chevy Vega. It was a puke yellow color like mustard Chevy Vega, but it was my car. It was a hatchback. And I quit my job because I didn't want them to know where I worked, where I lived, or anything. And so I left the bank where I was the head teller, and I got a job at Capitol Records. And they hired me there, luckily and happily. And I went there for this guy, this producer guy. And, they always want something extra benefits when you're working in the movie industry, or the music industry is no different. So anyway, I lived in my car right outside of Capitol Records. There's a little neighborhood over there that I would park at, and I would see all the kids around 5:30 or 6 o'clock running inside to go have dinner and stuff. And I would just be like, wow, it must be nice in there with their lights and their dinner and their breakfast, or their dinner, yeah, not breakfast, well, breakfast in the morning, and that they had a place to sleep and how lucky they were. And never did I ever in a million years think that I would end up being here, morning, in my van, downtown Los Angeles, talking about my life story to my sweet peeps. So I'll tell you more about it in my next episode. I hope you have an awesome Sunday. Look at that guy. Dang. What in the world is he in a hurry for? So, yep, she stole my Cuban boyfriend. Everybody was A-okay with that. I'm working at Capitol Records, sleeping in my car. I left everything behind, so I only had one outfit to wear until I got my first paycheck. That's how upset I was about the situation, because our dad was not in approval of my relationship with the Cuban boy next door. And I got my butt beat for it. And then she goes out with him, and he's A-okay with it? Can anybody out there tell me why it was so strange that he would approve of things she did, but not me? I would get in trouble for it, and he would completely support her. And I didn't talk to her for a couple of years after that. So that was a very difficult time, and I'll let you know what I was doing during that time. I did get another apartment. I moved in actually to the Hollywood Hills, right under the Hollywood sign, with my stepmom, Dorothy. My first stepmom, Dorothy Studley. So leave me a comment. Always believe. Talk to you soon. Much love, y'all. Ta-ta.